share the link on your group.
A very good evening and welcome back to the Lugogo Indoor Stadium. The national anthems are done and we are about to see the action between GCM of Burundi taking on homegrown of Kenya to see who wins this year's KAVC International that is proudly sponsored by NSSF. And right now I'm joined by Tobias from homegrown, a team that is from Kenya, and he's going to tell us about the team, why they have only 8 players here, and his expectations going into the game. How have you found Uganda and how has the tournament been for you?
Yeah, thank you so much for this opportunity. Since we came, we have found a very lovely and hospitable country. We have enjoyed the matches, we have enjoyed the food, we have enjoyed the people, and we have enjoyed the weather as well. Yes.
And when you look at the team from Burundi and homegrown, a team, you're the assistant team manager. What are your expectations in this final?
Of course, when we were living in Nairobi, we came here with one objective, to win. And it's only one objective that is still maintained in our mind, that we are going to win. So we are going back to Nairobi with the trophy.
You have 8 players. I don't know if you want to share. Why do you have 8 players? The rest of the teams have 12 or even more. For you have only 8. Why is that?
Yeah, we have a lot of engagements in as far as tournaments are going on in Kenya, and also we have the national ball games going on in Kenya. So some of our officials went for scouting. So the release, since this is a company, the release for the persons who should travel were just approved to be 8 maximum persons, and then 3 officials. So we are a total number of 11 persons here, 8 players and 3 officials.
And when you look at the opposition, GCM from Burundi, I'm sure you've watched them play in the tournament. What sort of challenge do they give you guys?
Yeah, the team is perfectly good. They are fighters and they are good in their defense. We have known their strength that they're coming with, and we have also designed ourselves how to beat that strength.
You beat the home team, KAVC, in the semi-final. I wonder what was going through your mind after they took the 3rd set, because they had won the first 2 sets. Was it a bit of getting tired for your players, the fact that you don't have the numbers?
No, what happened in that set, the KAVC coach changed their formation, and we realized that movement a bit late. So by the time we realized, they had taken a big step against us. So in volleyball, 1 point matters. So when somebody takes a big step, mentally it can disorient the whole team. But later, when we discovered their move, we also reorganized ourselves, and that's how we beat them.
All the best, assistant manager. We have GCM from Burundi, and they'll be taking on homegrown from Kenya, a team that has 8 commandos on court. They do not have so many subs, but they've been able to make it to the final and beat home side KAVC, who are the defending champions before, and will now be facing GCM from Burundi. The GCM side also beat a Ugandan team, that is Sky Volleyball Club, in the semi-final that had to wait until today. They were supposed to play yesterday, but it had to wait until today. Do you think the fact that GCM played in the morning, does that give you any sort of advantage?
No, there is no much advantage we can expect from that, since they had played more than 7 hours ago, and they have recovered their energy well, and also now they have the advantage because that was acting like their training. But us, we have been idle since morning. Of course, we have warmed up, but now they have an advantage of training in the morning. Now there's just a little warming up, and they catch up with the game.
And that's from the technical point of view. We have to wait and see what happens when the game starts proper. And what are your strong points as a team? When you look at your players, people have talked about your libero and your setter. What do you think gives you the advantage going into the final?
The whole team, our selection was perfect and lethal one. Because when we were doing the selection to come here, we selected the best of the best. Our setter is the best, our libero is the best, And in fact, this team in Kenya, it's the national team. This is the national team in Kenya. Though we have just missed only 3 members who have not traveled with us. But this is the national team of Kenya. But we're using homegrown. It's a club, but we take all of it as a national team, plus 3 other players from other clubs, which makes us now become 12. Yeah.
Good stuff. And we'll wait for the first ball to be served in this game as GCM from Burundi take on homegrown of Kenya, and it should be starting not far from now. We already have the official warm-up taking place, and the first ball will be served in less than 5 minutes. So you keep tuned. I can see the guests that have come, had the different federation guests that are here, and the fans are around. When you look at the crowd, Kenya hosted the Zone 5 not so long ago. Try to do a comparison between the clubs here and then back in Kenya. What's the difference?
In Kenya, our gymnasium is a bit bigger than this, and the lab for volleyball is really higher in Kenya than in Uganda. So when a tournament is called for and it's announced publicly, we get a bigger turn up in the stadium. Even sometimes we don't have enough space. But here you can get spaces in between, even the corridors, there are still some spaces. So the attendance in Kenya is a bit higher. Yes. But what we also love with this place is the enthusiasm of the spectators. They remain agile throughout the game, which is really encouraging. Yes.
We wait for the first ball to be served, and we'll see who takes this one. We already have Nkumba as the winners in the ladies category. They managed to beat Ndeje University by 3-0. And now we have GCM of Burundi taking on homegrown from Kenya. Who will be the winner of the 2019 NSSF KAVC Championship? We can only wait and see. The lineups are being read, and in not so long we shall be starting with the match. And Coach Rafi is back to take us through some technicalities of the game and his expectations. Coach, what sort of game do you expect? You have 8 men from Kenya taking on 12 from Burundi. What sort of game do you expect in this final?
It's going to be a very explosive game. The team from Kenya seems to be a very strong team. They are few in number, but they are very organized. Some of the players have been together for some time. These are players who have played in school for some time, and they are playing in GSU, most of them, and on the national team. They have about 5 players playing for the national team with a very good setup. When we look at the other team from Burundi, this is a team that is also good. It's defensive-wise a very good team. It has been winning because of its defense. They have also got a very good setter. It's a national team setter, and they have a few of their young players playing for the national team. But when it comes to ranking, I think Kenya is ranked higher than Burundi, the Burundian team.
Yeah, and the Burundians will be serving first. We see what exactly they can offer, but the Kenyans go hard, and that's what they do that for a living. Most of them are playing for the national team, and GSU, a mixture of GSU and prisons here and there to make this team that traveled all the way to Kampala. They managed to defeat KAVC, who are the hosts of this championship, and they should be the favorites, although they are small in number. There are only 8 players, but they lead 2-0 already, and you think that maybe they are favorites, if not for getting tired maybe or anything. I still think that the selected 6 are better compared to the Burundi team, but all that we can only wait and see what happens in the game. And the Burundians have just scored their first point to make sure that the Kenyan side do not run away with this one. It is 2-1, and we wait and see what sort of action we are going to get. And the Kenyans continue to bite.
So far the Kenyans have played 5 matches in this tournament, and with the 5 matches they have been winning in straight sets, except when they played a semi-final where they lost a set. And we see that they are going to put up a very strong challenge for the Burundian team. First, they are very aggressive. They are attacking very hard. The Burundian team needs to attack harder than it's attacking.
Yeah, and the assistant team manager for Homegrown told us that from Nairobi they came with 1 goal, which was to win and take the trophy plus the money back home. And they are on course at the moment because they managed to beat KAVC, which most people looked at as contenders, and now they face a Burundi side that played earlier today because their semi-final was delayed and will now have to play 2 games today. But the Kenyan side has had some good rest. Having beaten KAVC last night, they've had some good rest and have now come back to play the final. And you think that they should be in a much better shape compared to the Burundians. But only time will tell. The game has started, and I'm sure the Burundians will not want to think about what happened yesterday or the fact that they played today. It's all for the money. But that's not how they're going to take the game and the money, not by serving into the net. And that's a point for the Kenyan side, homegrown, and they lead by 5-3. The Burundians have responded with a point of their own to try and make sure that the lead does not grow and expand further. And that's what they will need to do. Make sure you keep your opponent in check. You do not give them the chance to run away with the game. But this Kenyan team have a very good libero, and that gives them the opportunity. Every time they are served, the libero collects well and gives the setter, which setter is one of their best players, and it makes it quite easy for them to find spaces in the opponent's block, and as we speak they lead by 7-4.
When you look at the combination between the libero of Kenya and the set of Kenya, both of these players have been playing for the national team, so you expect a lot of coordination between them. And when you look at the other team, the Burundians don't expect a lot of power attacking, but expect a lot of tactical approach on the game. They will use a lot of brushing, a lot of using of the block, and they're not going to play hit very hard, but they will try to look for points. But with the Kenyan team, it's going to really hit very hard to frustrate them.
Yeah, and that was another brush that they managed to score with. But the Kenyans responding to make sure they stay in control of this game. And as we speak, they are leading by 8-5, which gives them a good advantage of 3 points ahead of this team. But they serve in the net now, and that gives a point to GCM from Burundi. It is now 6-8 as GCM try to stay in this set. That was an ace from the Burundians, and it's a difference of just one, and it's very important that they stay within close range.
When we look back at the Kenyan team, why it's called homegrown, it's a collection of players from the same province in Kenya, and most of them are coming from the Western province, and that's where the heart of volleyball is in Kenya. And these are very experienced players. You can see how they are playing, how they attack, how they defend. And the Burundians have been there before, but they have not had enough exposure on the continent like the Kenyans have done.
Of course, Burundi continue to struggle with so many things, not just sports. And of course, the politics of the country gets to affect the sports. And we didn't have them here for the Zone 5. They have the talent, but maybe it's the organization that is not doing their part. But we can see they have the intelligent players, and like Coach said, they will try to be more tactical and use less power, because the Kenyans are clearly much better in that department. And yeah, it's going to be very tough for the Burundians, but the Kenyans, can they get tired? You have 8 players. Do you fear that you can get tired along the way?
I don't think so. We've seen them do the same things with a lot of endurance. They are fit, they can go for more sets, and they're doing well. Most of the players, you see them, are more universal when it comes to attack. They don't attack from the same position. They're not specialized attackers. Most of the time they're using the backcourt a lot. So it's going to be very difficult for them to keep scoring.
And they continue to attack hard, the Kenyans, and they're taking this one. The Burundians need a timeout. Kenya lead 12-8, and there's a lot of work for the Burundians to do. But as we speak, the Kenyans are totally in control and you think they will be looking to try and finish this off as fast as possible because of so many possibilities. The fact that when you go for more sets, when you go to the fourth set, to the fifth set, maybe getting tired may come into play. So you think that as Kenyans they will be trying to make sure they finish this one off, and they are on course at the moment. They lead by 4 points, that is 12-8 in favor of homegrown from Kenya.
I think the Kenyans know that they're outnumbered. They are very few. There are only 8 players. I think they're going to use every chance they get to score, not to tear themselves down. And I'm sensing a 3 straight win for them. The Burundians defend very well. They are making scores, but tactical scores. And I think if they can keep it up and Kenya starts messing up somehow, and it will be very hard for them to get that 3 straight win they need.
Yeah, yesterday the Kenyans looked on course to beat KAVC 3-0. But somehow KAVC managed to recover in the third set and take it, and they managed to finish it off in the fourth set to ensure they didn't go for a decisive. Is that the kind of game we can expect from the Burundians? So far, everything is going the way of homegrown, and we can only wait and see if they will be able, the Burundians are able to stop them from finishing this one off in straight sets like coach has just told us.
So far you saw it in the semi-finals, Burundi against Sky. How Burundi managed to beat Sky in straight sets. It was an easy go for them. Sky had very strong attackers and very experienced players, but when you look at the Burundi side, they seem to know what to do as a team.
The Kenyans continuing to show us why they are the Zone 5 champions, having won against Uganda, Tanzania, and everyone that was at the Zone 5 championship in Nairobi. Most of the players that are featured for that team are in the homegrown side here, and you cannot be surprised that they are in the lead and are now leading by 15 to 11 points against GCM of Burundi. Can the Burundians recover? If the last play is anything to go by, they may find it hard to do that because the Kenyans have added another point and it is now 16-11, a difference of 5 points, and the Burundians have to arrest this to ensure the lead does not continue growing.
I think the Burundians are keeping up with the pace. When you look at the scores, 16-11, I think they're trying their best to keep up with the Kenyan offense. But I believe if they can defend more and get to use the balls they have defended, they'll close up the gap.
And that's a point for homegrown of Kenya. They lead 17-12. Still, they've maintained their 5-point difference. And it's still in their favor. It's still in their hands. It's a race to 25. And you can see the block. They are very good with the block. You don't just score easily on them. So they have a lot in their tank to try and push for this set. 17, they need about 8 points to finish this set off. And you think they can do that? And that's another point. It is 18 now for homegrown of Kenya. And totally in control of this one. From the start of the first set, you think that homegrown are still in total control of the game so far?
Yes, I think they are in total control of the game. I will agree with you. But they need to watch out for players number 10, players number 5, players number 9. These are very good players from the Kenyan side. They need to really watch out. We have not seen a lot from player number 13. Actually, he performed better in the other matches, but we have not seen a lot from him. And also the player number 2, player number 12 from the Burundian team were doing great job in the other matches that we saw them playing. But at this time, we don't see them really putting up a lot of a challenge. It's a one-sided game so far.
Yeah, when you see that jersey, you may think they are Spurs players, but they are not. They are maybe a football jersey, but they are very good when it comes to volleyball. And GCM from Burundi need a timeout as the Kenyans lead by 20 points to 14, the rest to 25. And you think the Kenyans are now looking at the end of this set. They will not be looking back. They want to finish it off and make sure they take the first set of the game and see how the game progresses.
You see in these games, always the first set matters. The first set will set the pace at which you are going to play on from the beginning to the end. So it's important to take the first set when you're playing in such a competition. When you take the first set, you apply a lot of pressure to the other team.
The Burundians have gotten that point, and they are trying to stay in the game. It's a difference of 5, and they know that they can still hang on and see if they can actually contest and take this set. But the Kenyans will have totally different ideas as they score yet another point to make it 21-15, and it's still theirs to lose. This set is still theirs to lose. The Kenyans and the Burundi side struggled so much. How they got to the final with Sky being reported to have used more international players than they are required to, and then the chaos that followed, the game having to be postponed until today morning. All that must be behind them now, and they are waiting to see if they can win this game. The winner takes the trophy and $2,000. The loser will take $1,500 and the trophy and the second place. So, not very bad business for the foreign teams. You've come to Kampala, and if you can take home $2,000, I don't think for the homegrown, for example, there are only 8 players and 3 officials. That would not be bad business at all.
That's good money for them. They're not going home empty-handed unless they are carrying something home.
Yeah, and you think that it would be a reward they deserve, because to bring 8 players with most of the players very busy in the season, some not able to come, but you still manage to carry a team of 8 and actually compete to get to the finals. I think there is no team that deserves that money like the Kenyan team. But they've got to win to be able to take that money. It is 17-23 in favor of the Kenyans, and they are they just need 2 points to finish this off and go rest and come back for the second set, knowing that they are in the lead.
It's a good service from Burundi team. It's a really good service. That's number 12, has got great experience. I've seen him for years playing in schools, playing for the national team. I think he's a very good player, but now he loses the service again, which is not a good sign. You cannot do that when you're playing against Kenya.
Yeah, I think some of the things that we've got to do right in volleyball are the basics, starting with the serving, the reception, and the setting, and then the attack. But about 4 or 5 serves that have gone into the net in this set already, and you don't want to be doing that in a final.
I think that service must be intentional. They want to finish in style. I think the next set must be deadly.
And it's a dump, from the Kenyans to make sure that they finish this one off 25-19, and they take the first set as we wait for the second set to see if the Burundians Kenyans will be taking yet another set. Coach, how have you seen the first set? What do the Kenyans need to maintain? What have the Burundians got to improve to ensure that this is a very good contest for the fans?
I think both teams are not yet explosive as we expected. Kenyans have been a bit explosive, but they have not yet brought it out all. I think they are reserving. They know it's a final. You don't bring it out all. You have to reserve your energies a bit. If you are scoring and it's easy for you to score, then do it that way. But if it requires a lot of energy, then you need to do that. The Burundians, I know, when they are going for the second set, I know they are going to make some positive changes. They've realized who is attacking from where, what they need to do. They need to get back to that, to defense. They have a very experienced coach who can turn things around. And let's wait and see what happens in the second set.
Can the Burundians turn this around and take the second set, or will the Kenyans just increase their lead? We can only wait for the second set, which should be starting in a bit, and we see if the Kenyans will run away with the $2,000 or the Burundians will actually challenge and take it home. The two sides are back and are ready to go in the second set, and we wait and see if the Kenyans will be taking a second set or the Burundians will have something to say about this. The Kenyans will be serving for the second set to start. Not a good reception from the Burundians, and it's a free ball to the Kenyans, who will definitely try to use it. But the Burundians win that point because the ball goes off the belt and off court, and it's a point for Burundi, who drew first blood in this set. Can they maintain that sort of rhythm and finish off the Kenyans in this set? We can only wait and see.
It's a very good hit from position 2. The setter is a very experienced setter. He's a very good setter. He knows where all his attackers are, and he's trying to disguise his sets as much as possible.
That was a good reception, but a good block, and eventually the Burundians could only spike out. For the Kenyan team, homegrown, to take the point, and they lead by 2-1. The Burundians' level matters. It is 2-2, and they will need to make sure they keep the Kenyans in check. Don't let them lead by 5 points or 4, and maybe you stand a chance in this championship.
Attack, kind of block attack by the Kenyans, and the scores are 4-2 in favor of Kenya. Service reception error from the libero. We have seen this libero of the Burundian team messing up a lot on service reception. I think is more into a defensive libero than a reception libero. What is your take on that?
I think sometimes you need to use 2 liberos, because we've seen teams that are using one for reception and another for cover and defensive play. But like you said, he seems to be good in open play, but the reception, I think it is still wanting. You can give a little bit of credit to the Kenyans because of the kind of service that they have, but I think he needs to do a better job in reception. The Kenyans lead by 6 points to 2 in the second set. They already have 1 set in the bag, and the Burundians will not afford to give this one away. But from the look of things, the points the difference keeps growing. They've cut that to 2 points now. It is 4-6, and the Burundians are serving in this one.
It's a very beautiful hit from Team Kenya, and you can see how they respond back when they have lost a point. How they get it back is in a way to intimidate their opponents. They hit hard to intimidate you a lot. Very good response from Team Burundi. That was very good. Number 7, the short ball attacker, is a center player, and he's a new member of that team, I think so. I've not seen him play for quite some time. I think he's a new member on the team, and he loses the service, which is not something good to do at this level. If you want to really lead, you need to keep your services right.
And the Burundians may have to use a little bit more of their middle, if you are going to beat these Kenyans, to vary their play and not be very predictable every time they attack. The Kenyans with good defense, but because of a double, the Burundians will take that point, and it is 6-8 in favor of the Kenyans, as the Burundians look to stay in the game and in the set. Good reception from the Kenyans, and the attack, good block from the Burundians. And the Kenyans score. Very good work from the libero, turning into a setter, and it was a very good ball for them to score from.
I think there's a challenge from the captain to the referee. I think he's trying to tell the referee, I think the libero set a ball from the front court. You see, a libero is not allowed to make sets from the front court, and you execute them on the attack. If he's setting from the front court, he's supposed to set it to the back. And if he's setting on the front court, he's supposed to use a deep set for any front court attack.
And the senior referee that we have, Mr. Komakech, did not see that, so you get some and you do not get others once in a while. But the Kenyans are on attack now, and they managed to score. They look very likely to score every time they have the possession. I don't know if it's because of the service from the Burundians, but every time the Kenyans get the ball, you have a feeling they're going to score. The middle has got to operate.
The Burundians seem to have noticed that the Kenyans are waiting for that hard hit, and they're actually playing a lot of dumping game, and they're getting their scores right. So you can see it that they're not really attacking. That's what I told you that at the beginning. They'll try to play a tactical game to get scores, and that's what exactly they are doing.
But the Kenyans will keep going hard. They are not about to stop, and they lead 11-8 in this one. The hard attacks have been working for them. They are not sending any soft balls or free balls to the Burundians, and it has been very hard for the Burundians to stop them. But the Burundians are now on attack, and it's a dump, but the Kenyans deal with it, and that's a point for the Burundi team, GCM, that are now able to close the gap. It is now 9-11. The Kenyans are still in the lead. They already have one set in the bag and only need this to make sure they go into the third set and try to win the championship. It is 12-9 now, as the Kenyans have split that block to send the ball outside and score the point.
You can notice a lot of the difference in play. We're seeing a lot of ugali and versing chips from the Burundians. I think there's something there. They're trying to show them, hey, the ugali is stronger than the chips you are taking. And the Burundians say, oh, chips is sweeter, we can get those points made easily.
The interesting story I've read about Burundi in the most recent times is the fact that they've run out of beer. Their main beer in the country, which is Amstel. I think there's a shortage of that, and that's like the most interesting story that I've read about a country whose problem is beer, that you're out of beer and you need more. Like saying in Uganda you've run out of Nile Special, something like that. So they are having to take beer from Rwanda, Skol and these other brands, but they do not have a lot of Amstel, at least not enough like they would have wanted. But back to volleyball, and the Kenyans are leading 14-10 in the second set. They already have one set in the bag. Can they finish this one off? The Burundians are making a substitution. And number 6 comes on. Is he the magic man that they need to turn this round? Good block from Kenya, and the lead keeps growing.
I think the number 6 who has come in, the Burundian, is not sure why he was brought in. It seems to be a little bit disturbed, being given the first ball and he slams it in the block. I think it is not good for him at this time. The pressure is going to mount on him, and being in a position where you have a set on the front court and 2 other attackers, you're outnumbered in offense, it's not going to be easy for them to make that break.
The Burundians have decided to go soft. They are dumping, they are going through the middle, and when you do that, you better score. Otherwise, the other team is getting a very easy collection then to the setter, and they are able to score. And that's what the Kenyans are doing. Very good recovery from the libero, and the Kenyans keep it in play. Yeah.
Number 6 gets the first score of the game. I think he could be a good player, but the time they have brought him in is not a good time. We brought him at a situation where the team needs a lot of energy to play, and the Kenyans are really showing the Burundians that, hey, we are here for you.
And it's a timeout for GCM from Burundi, as they try to make sure they find what exactly they need to do to beat this Kenyan team. But the Kenyans proving untouchable at the moment. They lead by 5 points, 17-12. Can they seal this and make it 2-0 going into the third set? Or can the Burundians actually recover and take this set and try to stay in the game?
I think this game seems to move a little faster than we expected. We expected a lot of defense from the Burundians, but it seems their defense has been broken down, so they need to restructure themselves and defend much better than they're defending.
And they cannot receive. The Kenyans score yet another point to make it 18-12 as they try to take this set. You can say they have been doing everything right, the Kenyans. And apart from having 8 players, that's a good block from the Kenyans. But speaking of blocks, you think that the Burundians have not been able to block well? Because you look at the points that Kenya are getting, how they are going hard, and actually finding the flow on the side of the Burundians. I can understand if you block and the ball goes the other side, but I don't think they are going to win a game if the Kenyans are negotiating that block very easy.
We're seeing Kenyans blocking much better than the Burundians. I think they're getting more points from the blocks, which is making their offense on the attack a little bit lower than expected. If they were not blocking and defending more from the backcourt and picking those balls past the block, I think would see the Kenyans converting those balls to very strong attacks, which is not happening. That means they are getting easy points by blocking.
And they are running away with this. It's 22-13, and the Burundians called for a timeout to try and see what exactly is wrong. But the Kenyans seem to be taking this set. And as a coach, it's the time that you get to plan for the third set and make sure this does not end in straight sets. To give themselves a chance, they will need to steal a set, and it does not look like it will be the second set. They may have to wait for the third. And it's about time they started resting some of those players to wait and see. Do you think the Burundians can make any magic and come back to get to 25 first?
I don't think it's going to happen. It's too late for them to get back into that set. Maybe they try to plan for the next set, but according to this, what I'm seeing, the signs they're showing that they are so tired. I think these matches have been so many for them. They are not used to a competition where you play so many games, and I think they have played very many games and very hectic games. Their bodies could be tearing down at the moment. That's why they're not giving us the best.
That's a free ball to the Kenyans, and they will use it. They use it, and they are now leading by 23-14, which is they just need 2 points to finish this set off and lead by 2-0. The Burundians are in 6s and 7s, and the Kenyans at their best form so far. I'm sure they would want to play like this every now and then, or to face a team like this one every time that they play volleyball.
Kenyans have got a lot to do in the next set if they want to get back into this game. They have to do a lot of blocking and a lot of attacking. They have not attacked hard at all. Actually, they're playing, as I said, they will keep on playing a tactical game. You've seen them using the block. They are aware the Kenyan block is very good. So what they have to do is actually to brush those balls off the block if they would need to score, or play the balls over the block.
They've still failed to do that, and the Kenyans score yet again to make it 25-15, take the second set, and now lead by 2-0. Can the Burundians recover from this, or will the Kenyans be able to finish it off to win the 2019 edition of the NSSF KAVC International Championship? We wait for the third set to start, and as it stands, the Kenyans are having all things going their way, and the Burundians may not know what has hit them so far, and they will have to do a lot of recovery and a lot of improvement in terms of reception, the block, to try and stay in this game. There are 3 sets left now. They need all the 3. The Kenyans need just 1 to be able to win this game. So we wait and see for the third set. The teams are back. It's time for set 3. The Kenyans are in cruising mode. They are leading by 2-0 and need only 1 set to be crowned champions of the NSSF KAVCINTERNATIONAL International Championship here at Lugogo. And the Burundians on the other side need all the remaining 3 sets to be able to win the game. And whether they can do that is a question for another day. We'll wait and see. The Kenyans look like they are not about to give this one up. They look like they can be able to finish it off in 3 sets. And I don't know what kind of picture that would paint, because we had the ladies final ending 3-0 in favor of Nkumba, and now we have this one. Looks like it's going for a 3-0 in favor of the Kenyans. But this is volleyball, and anything can happen. We can only wait and see whether the Burundians have enough in their tank to recover and stay in this game and go on to win the championship. Back underway, and the Kenyans scored the first point of the set, and they are looking good, I should say. The second point too goes to the Kenyans, homegrown, and it's not the kind of start you need if you are looking to win your first set of the game and try and stay in the game, because if this set is gone, then the Burundians will know that they are losing the game and the title. So not a good start for them.
We have Nasser Balinda who's watching live this game from the US, and I think he's enjoying himself. He's also saying he's a coach, and he's also saying that the Kenyans seem to not do too much. Burundi seems to give them the game all the way. They're not doing a lot of blocking, so it's easy for the Kenyans just to slam those balls down on their side. They're not doing too much.
Yeah, the Kenyans have not had to struggle so much for their points. I don't think they've worked a lot for that, but already they are leading by 3-1 in this set, and they look destined to winning. But we wait and see if the Burundians will have a few things to say about that. But at the moment, you can see the service from the Burundians easily tamed by the Kenyans, and then they set and attack. Only that this time round, the attack went off court, and it is a point for the Burundians to make it 2-3 in favor of the Kenyans, and that's another point for the Kenyans. It is 4-2, and the Kenyans are cruising, to say the least. The Kenyan libero fails to recover that, and it's a point for GCM from Burundi to make it 4-3. The Kenyans still in the lead. The Burundians have not enjoyed the lead in this game. They only scored the first point of the second set, but from that point we have seen the Kenyans dominating, and they are still doing that. Is this a 3-0 kind of game?
I think it's a 3-0 type of game, and you can see the Burundians seems to just accept the loss, but they are trying their best to see if luck can be on their side, but I don't think it's going to happen. They are trying everything, but the Kenyans seem to be better at what they're doing.
That's a carry from the Kenyan setter, and a point for the Burundians. It is 5 up at the moment, and the Burundians are trying to make sure they stay alive in this contest. That was another easy service from the Burundians, easily taken by the Kenyans. And the dump, when you expect them to hit, they dump. Because most of the time they are hitting, you're not going to be so sure. And the dump this time round counts to give the Kenyans the lead at the moment. And we can see the Burundians still struggling to get the points, and the Kenyans take that point 7-5. They lead by 2 points in the race to 25 as they look to round this one up to win the game, the championship, and the money. A good brush from the Burundians. They will have to do more of that if they are going to score.
You notice that the Kenyan blocks are very high. They're very high blocks. So the Burundians can still use those blocks to score. Another good block. Their blocks and they're very experienced when it comes to blocking. They play a lot of a net defense kind of game, whereby it's very difficult for you to just hit the ball and cross. They block very well. They have good positioning. Their formations on the block are really good for the Kenyans. The Burundians on the other side, I would say maybe their heights are okay, but the way they are forming the block, they're actually being beaten by the Kenyan setter a lot.
Yeah, and that's why the Kenyans have penetrated their block on very many occasions. And that's why they are in the lead. They lead by 3. The Burundians, another good collection for the Kenyans. And it's a point for the Kenyans. 10-6 in favor of the homegrown side from Kenya. And they lead by 4 points in this race as they try to win the second set and the game. It's time for the Kenyans to serve. And it's a point for the Burundians. The Kenyans failing to deal with that, and the Burundians get the point. It's a game of mistakes. Whoever makes less mistakes gets to win the game. And so far, the Kenyans have not made many mistakes. And they score a point now.
We always tell players volleyball is a game of mistakes. So the one who makes more mistakes will lose. The one who makes less mistakes will win. But again, also, when you look at the game, defense will win you the game, offense will score for you a point. So when you look at what's happening, the Kenyans are doing both.
Yeah, and make no mistake, they are here. They lead by 12 points to 7. On merit, they've been the better side in every department, but it's a good block from the Burundians. They'll have to do that and more if they are going to win this set and the game.
They need to do more blocking. They need to do more blocking so that they can mount pressure on the Kenyan team.
An easy collection for the Kenyans, and the attack is as good as they make this 13-8 in favor of homegrown from Kenya. A team of 8 commandos. There are only 8 players, but they don't want to know. They only need 6 at a time, and they have those ones. So at the moment they are in the lead, where the Burundians have scored to make it 9-13, and it's good for them to ensure the lead is not very big. Already the Kenyans will feel like it's a substantial lead in this set if they are going to try and get to 25 first. And the serve from the Burundians, very easy for the Kenyans. And when they collect like that, they are going to punish you.
You give them free balls, you pay the price for the free ball. And that's what has been happening. You give them a free ball, that's their game. They want to serve you hard. They want to make you not to attack those balls. They want you to fail to set the balls. And that's what they are doing. And they're doing it very well. They don't need to hit you hard, but they will serve you hard, mess up, make your attack obvious. They'll block you down. And that's what they're doing. And they're doing it very well. The Burundians have to style up. They have to receive very well. They have to set very well. They have to know which block is weaker. Because with this Kenyan team, you seem not to find a weak block anywhere. Not like any other, some of the teams that we have seen earlier, they have had weak blocking setters, and we're not seeing that with the Kenyan team. The Kenyan team, the Kenyan setter seems to be a very good blocker as well.
The Burundians needed a timeout and they've come back from that. let's see what they've been planning as they try to make sure the Kenyans don't run away with the game. If they take this set, it is done and dusted. They'll be the champions of the 2019 edition of the KAVC International Tournament. And that's a carry from the Burundians and a point for the Kenyans. It is 15-9 at the moment, and it's good for Kenya, not very good for Burundi. Homegrown are in total control, and GCM from Burundi are on the receiving end. Can they turn their fortunes to try and win this one? The Kenyans are serving.
When you look at the Burundian team, it's a team that has shown a lot of improvement as the competition started. They kept on picking up, they kept on improving on their play, but it seems not to be the same when it has come to the final. The game has totally changed. It looks as if they are so fatigued. They are not as confident as they were before. All the games we've seen them play, they were playing very well. They played against Sky. It was a very interesting game to watch. They played against Police. It was a very interesting game to watch. And remember, Police took the host KVC into a decisive in the quarterfinals. And I think there was a lot of change in the competition. There are teams that you would expect not to be very strong, not to play at a very high competitive level, but they are doing it and they are surprising most big teams. I expected a lot from the host team, the KAVC team, but I think here and there they had a little bit of technical issues when it came to their setting department, and I think maybe next time we have such a competition, they can work on that.
Yeah, and the Kenyans, it's now 17-10 in favor of the Kenyans. Can the Burundians recover? We do not think so. It looks like it will be 3-0 for the Kenyans. The Burundians need a lot of perfection to be able to come back in this game. This set, to be specific, still not good for them, and they are trying out a few changes, whether that is to give the players that have not been playing some game time, whether they are the players that will come in and change the game. We can only wait and see. But the Kenyans are leading by 18 points to 10 and by 2 sets to 0. They only need about 7 points to win the set, the game, the title, and the money.
When you look at the Burundians, I think they're satisfied with what they have achieved from this championship. They've come a long way, and playing to get to the finals. It's a dream come true for them. Whether they win or not, it is okay. That's enough for them, and I think they deserve being on the finals. They've done their best, and they may not win, but they walk away with something. At least they know they made it to the finals. The Kenyan team reminds me of days when we used to travel to Tanzania. We used to go Super 8, like the way they do, the way they have done it, Super 8, and it meant that you had only fare to go, but you have to work hard to win some money so that you can come back. And I think that is what they are doing here. They know they must win something to go back home with, and they're not going to take any chances.
Yeah, already they know that even if they lose, there is $1,500 for them. But they don't look like they are going to lose, because even when the Burundians get the chance to attack, the attacks are going off court or in the net, and that has played in the Kenyans' favor. It is 20 to 10 in favor of the Kenyans, and I don't think there is anyone that can come and save the Burundians. As it is right now, 21-10, surely no way back for them.
That's hard luck for them. We can't say much, but I think they've made a change. They brought in their second setter to try out something, which is good. I think coach says, you go and try it out, go and play. You've not played the whole tournament. I think it's right time now you go and feel the court a little bit before the game ends, so that we know we traveled with you, you got to court, you did something. So I think that's what they are doing now.
The Kenyans have started having fun. The jump service and the Burundians failed to deal with that one. It is 23-10 and the Burundians need a timeout. It's not enough for them to score all those points to be able to win, but maybe it gives them time to reevaluate what they've been doing and see where to make adjustments, not only in this game, but in future as a team.
I think the fans expected a very explosive game. I also expected a very explosive game, but I'm a bit disappointed to see that the way they have handled the game, they're not being so explosive because they know it's an easy win. The other games they played, it was too hot for the fans, and everyone expected a lot of hard hits, and we are not seeing this. We have seen a few of them, but we are seeing a lot of net defense and good service from the Kenyans, and a lot of reception errors from the Burundian team.
Like we said, the Kenyans know that they have a substantial lead, and they are now trying everything that they've been working on. The jump service, they don't even have to get it right. It would still be very hard for the Burundians to come back into the game and win. And that is the 24th point, 24-11, and the Kenyans need just 1 point to win the set, the game, and the championship. And the ball goes straight out for Kenya to win the set 25-11 and the game 3-0 for homegrown against GCM from Kenya. Your overall assessment of the game, what did you make of the Kenyans and the Burundians? Do you think the Kenyans are worthy champions?
I think they deserve it. The Kenyans deserve being champions. They've played their game. They gave it their best. They are few in number, but they know what they came for, and they have achieved it. The Burundians have given a good effort, but was not enough. Maybe next time better. But they have given us a good game. I think the fans have enjoyed the competition, and that makes it the end of this competition, and I think they have a lot to learn from this. The Kenyans have a lot also to learn and expect from the teams they have met in Uganda, and I think this will send a very good message back to their homes that next time they should come as many teams as possible for this championship.
Thank you so much, Coach, and thank you everyone that has been watching. And congratulations to Homegrown from Kenya, who won the men's championship, and Nkumba Volleyball Club that won the women's championship. Bye-bye.